on the left side, and we have Team 2ARC on the red side. Second pick, second ban, although they do it in the opposite order. So, yeah. Anyway, we see Tychus Arthas as the bans here. Really common bans. Follow it up with a Kerrigan first pick, which is a little unusual, and then we see what looks like a pretty normal draft. Initially, Vala, Brightwing, Tyrael, Barbarian, Tassadar, Uther, really common. Rhaegar seeing a little more play lately, but these last picks for both teams, way out of left field. Witch Doctor for Team Clairvoyant, and ETC for Team 2ARC. Both of these really uncommon. What do you think about these heroes?
Oh man, the main one I have a problem. I mean, okay, they're both like really bad as last picks for multiple reasons. If you look at the Witch Doctor, and I love Witch Doctor, but there are a lot of things he's not good against, and that's anything with a stun or an interrupt. We have three that they can use easily. They have the ETC knockback, they have the Uther stun and Divine Storm, then you got Polymorph from Brightwing. All three of those are going to be great at interrupting that Witch Doctor ult. He's going to have to be playing very patiently and keeping his range. He has to wait for those stuns, because when he gets to late game, 90% of Witch Doctor's damage comes from his ult. And he's got great damage when he gets the free cast off, but there's so many interrupts. And the same thing with ETC. You've got multiple ways to disrupt the mosh pit. Multiple stuns. You got the smite. If you get the knockback talent, it'll interrupt that. I mean, both the last picks are really weird to me.
Yeah, the last pick's definitely hitting me out of left field as well. But it should be interesting to see how they perform in game, because even though these last picks, they're unconventional, which also means that we just haven't seen much of them in competitive play. Maybe they're really good, and we just don't know about it. It's possible. So
yeah,
that'll be fun to see.
I mean, I think this is the first time we're seeing Witch Doctor in the ECS. Like I said, my favorite hero in game, so I'm excited. I love, I mean, bias going in, but
all right.
Witch Doctor, man. Witch Doctor all the way.
We'll try and deal with it. Let's go into game. Clairvoyant against 2ARC. End up with 2ARC on that left side, blue team. Clairvoyant on that red side, right team. Are you ready to go, Zoya?
Yeah, 5 seconds at normal speed, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Hype train enabled. Kiefer's on that Master Skin Demon Hunter leading the charge for the blue team. A few tricks. Lumberjack Uther, Mr. J Pickles, Rockstar, ETC, Furious D on that Tassadar Rainbow Unicorn, and Kiro on the Brightwing. Beautiful.
And for Clairvoyant Gaming, we have in the red trunks, Notorious Dig on Rhaegar, Hawkfoog on Sonya, March on Kerrigan, Descent on Tyrael, and rounding out the best hero in the game, we have Suki on Witch Doctor.
Alright, he even has a Robo-Wolf. Clearly, he knows what's good in life.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
That Suki guy.
Definitely. We see both teams running towards the mid lane. The Tassadar Oracle is going to give them perfect information. They're not going to step into a death brush here. They're going to be just fine against all 5 members of Team Clairvoyant. So,
what do you think of this positioning here? We have the Vala at the top lane, and the Brightwing at the bottom. Why do you think this is the case here?
yeah, it's a little atypical now that you mention it. Usually people put their globals on the top lane and then slam as many people in the bottom lane as possible. I'm not sure why, but as long as you're getting experience from all the lanes, I think we're going to have to wait and see what the strategy is before we make any judgments. A few tricks face checking into this brush that has March and Hawkfoot waiting. Is he going to be able to get out? Uther heals and Tassadar shields not enough to get him out. That beautiful body block, as Zoya was saying, does actually end up getting them the first blood. Fantastic play there.
That was really well done.
Yeah.
The execution that Rhaegar, Notorious Dig was just dancing with him, making sure he wasn't going anywhere. We might have another gank here. Pickles is under fire here. Of course, ETC very hard to kill in the early game. Nice stash away, avoiding the stun from March. A little bit of skirmish here, but I don't see anything major coming from this fight.
No, neither of these 3-man squads really have enough. Although, a few tricks just getting trapped by the Witch Doctor. Zombie Root. Does March have the combo up? He's trying to combo on Tassadar. Tassadar void shifts out. And then they end up just trading a bit of damage. Brightwing comes up, but no kill's going to be had. Meanwhile, in this top lane, Kiefer's having a really bad time against Descent. Tyrael is an absolute lane bully in this early game with that Purge Evil Smite, which means that Kiefer is going to have a really hard time controlling the Shrine or even staying in experience range if Descent plays aggressively.
Now, there is one thing that they're doing well at Clairvoyant Gaming, that is, they're making sure they always have one person in the lane. Bottom lane has been naked for a while. And Suki's been here just soaking as much experience as possible. I have a question for you. outside of like Zagara, do you think Tyrael is one of the best lane bullies in the game when it comes to solo lanes?
In the early game, yeah, there is pretty much no
Oh,
one he'd
keepers.
rather. Yeah, he felt the judgment.
Yeah, he did.
Tyrael didn't even learn judgment yet, and yet somehow he's showing up, bringing the pain. Does manage to kill him, although an argument could be made that Kerrigan was really the playmaker there. Either way, another kill for Team Clairvoyant.
And you have a fight in the middle of the map here. Pickles is under fire here. Haku's doing their best to delay this. Pickles will get back under the tower, though. Here comes Keepers from the bottom. Uther taking a lot of damage here from Haku. March going to dive in. It's so low. Will they be able to secure the kill? No pull. Just going for a stun. Interesting decision from March, but Uther does end up falling. Pickles does come back into lane. Now, the blue bottom tower was taken by Brightwing, so the Dragonite is not contestable at the moment.
Yeah, so Team 2Arc actually sacrificing a person or two there to deny the dragon pickup, which is okay as long as they don't miss XP. They do end up taking back that bottom shrine, but we can see Descent and Furious fighting the top side. Interestingly, Tyrael very powerful in the early game, so is Tassadar. They can go about even during the laning phase, but if Tyrael actually just brawls against Tassadar, he will come out on top of that. And we see Team Clairvoyant putting a lot of emphasis on this top lane. They're repeatedly ganking up here, putting a lot of pressure down, and Furious just void shifts out of that gank again.
I really wish March would have just used his... I know March was trying to save his stuff, try and get the kill later, but if he would have used it as soon as he engaged, forced the phase shift earlier, then they might have been able to get the kill on Furious D. It would have been close, though. Taskstars are so hard to gank.
So hard to gank. Probably not worth investing the time and resources. You see, because of that gank on the top side, Team 2Arc is now going for their own ogres, but Clairvoyant already on their own knights and manages to take them because they have a brutally fast knight-taking composition.
Absolutely.
That Barbarian Kerrigan solos the knights really early and really easily. Brightwing, in fact, bribing the ogres on the bottom lane for Team 2Arc. Yeah. Boy, that name for some reason hard for me to remember.
I'm having trouble with it too.
It's okay. March, remembering how to use his stuns, not enough to get a kill on a few tricks on Mr. J. Pickles, but it does save DIG in the mid lane, which is good. And now we see an Ogre pushing the bottom lane for 2Arc. Meanwhile, a Knight pushing the top lane for Team Clairvoyant. And 2Arc trying to secure those far bottom Ogres as well.
Suki doing the best he can to clear this up. March coming in for a little bit of pull, getting them in tower range, clearing those up. Ogres are cleaned up bottom lane. And we do see, there we go, 2Arc is getting the bottom center giants, going to help push with those. Suki has to be careful, though. There are 3 people here. I don't know if he realizes it. Demon Hunter are going to go straight in on him. Here comes Pickles from behind, knocking him back in. The wall, catching the Vala for now. Will he be able to make it on tower? Will there be some Brightwing damage? No Polywarp going down, and he just barely lives. Wow, Suki. So
yeah,
close.
Actually making it out of there really surprising me. The damage just wasn't quite there. The volley used all of her damage at the front, and Suki had the health pool ticking on him, and he kind of had an extended overall amount of health because of that, which was really useful there, because he lived just by the skin of his teeth, and that's going to allow him to stay down here and clear out this wave. Meanwhile, Team 2Arc putting some pressure on the mid lane. Looks like they're going to kill Hawkfu. Oh, March combos, but it's not enough to save his friend, and Hawkfu goes down in the mid lane. Now, that puts Team 2Arc on the board with 1 kill.
First kill for 2Arc of the game, putting the kills 3 for 1. Both teams are level 9. We'll have to see who can hit 10 first. Even with that new kill, Clairvoyant should still have the advantage going into level 10 first. We'll have to see if they're able to profit on it. Oh, no, actually, there we go. They both hit 10 at almost the exact same time.
Yeah, so nobody getting a big power spike at that level 10 that they can take advantage of. It's going to be dead even. Although Team 2Arc in position to have both shrines controlled until Suki gets down to that bottom one. There are 4 people in mid for both teams. Let's see if they want to take this engagement for either side.
And we'll see if they get going. Here comes March diving in on all 3 of them. Nice stun from Demon Hunter trying to slow things down here. There comes the dance from Pickles. Witch Doctor ult coming from the bottom, hitting a lot of people. No one trying to interrupt that, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be enough. First person falls for 2Arc. And there goes the Brightwing as well. Currently a 2 for 0 in favor of Clairvoyant Gaming.
Yeah, huge re-engage there for Clairvoyant. Now, they let a Witch Doctor get his full channel off, but they were so split that he just couldn't really accomplish anything with that. And they do manage... Oh, they picked Furious up in that top side. Looks like he got caught out Team Clairvoyant actually sniping those night camps really efficiently.
Here comes Brightwing coming in from the grave. ETC, will he be willing to charge in here? It looks like they're just going to be able to get this Nightcap. I don't see them being able to contest this. It is a 5v4. They do not have Tastadar, and Nightcap does go to Clairvoyant Gaming.
Yeah, definitely a good call by them. I feel like Tuark might have been able to contest that a little more than they did because Team Tuark didn't have many ults up or anything, but taking the safe route and letting them have the night camp is fine. It's not going to clear the fort on its own. You can just let it go to top lane and then clear it out, as long as you don't miss anything else because of it. We see these shrines coming up. Both teams have split to kind of deal with these shrines, and it looks like for at least a little while, Clairvoyant's going to have the advantage. Suki doesn't manage to capture that shrine, so they're not going to get the Dragon Knight. Brightwing teleports into a few tricks, and we're going to see a 1-1 shrine split again.
Yeah, will Marsh be able to force Furious out of here? He will back off. Not willing to contest it too hard. Here comes the set from the bottom, and then there's the phase shift. Furious should be able to get out here. There's a Judgment. Actually, they're popping a lot to try and secure this kill. There's the Venom. Will it be enough? So close. Furious D just barely going to live through that.
That last second protective shield just enough to get him to survive, but here we see a big team fight on the bottom. The Ogre camp.
Witchdoctor gets a trap on 2 of the members here. Unfortunately, Sonya does end up falling. He got half of a heroic off there, doing a decent amount of damage, but just wasn't up. And you can tell how powerful Witchdoctor is when he's getting these, more than half ults off. You look at the damage done; he's at 17k. That's a full 7,000 ahead of everyone else in the game. You gotta interrupt those Witchdoctor ults. It does way too much damage.
Absolutely, they're going to need to prioritize interrupting these Witchdoctor ults. But as long as he does it from a farm position... Oh, Suki might be out of position here. We see a huge gank coming in for Team Tuark, and they do manage to take down Suki on that bottom shrine and secure a double shrine advantage. Looks like they're going to go for the Ogres, though, instead of trying to fight at the Dragon Knight.
It was a really nice time gank there from Tuark. Suki should have known. I mean, there was just a team fight above him. He had lost a team member. He was out of mana, so there was really no chance of him getting out of there. Sometimes you can use zombie wall to get away. But now we see top tower is taken by Descent, so we have a 1-1 split again. No Dragon Knights have been taken, correct?
Yeah, both teams doing a good job of mitigating their losses and not ending up losing a Dragon Knight, and that's actually causing this game to be relatively light on structure damage relative to most Dragonshire maps. We see only a little bit of damage done to the bottom side red team's fort, and really a little bit on the top side of the front, but that's just not the normal amount of devastation you see on the Dragonshire, because the Dragon Knight hasn't made it out of his entombment yet.
Yeah, we're at the 10-minute mark, which is really early here. Here we go, though. Hawkfu gets a stun on only the Barbarian here. Pretty low. Hawkfu has to dive in, get the ult off March lands. His ult on 3 people. Descent comes in from above. Here comes the Witchdoctor ult from the back, doing a lot of damage, hitting 2 people right now. Furious D and Keepers are falling, but it does get interrupted. Nice interrupt by the ETC, and Keepers will end up getting away. Furious D is getting pretty low. Nice pull from March. Not able to secure any kills yet. Descent is so low. Brightwing is stuck. Nice ultimate from Pickles, just slowing down everyone. Won't be enough to get a kill, though. March is just going so ham, taking so much damage and not dying. Descent is pretty low as well. He does get polymorph. He is going to finally fall there. Going to go for a lot of judgment damage onto the Brightwing. Pickles actually hits no one, and it's now only a 3v2. Suki and Notorious Sig did not back off when March did, and they're going to end up getting another kill. March going in for another pull. Don't know if that was the best choice. Everyone is so low on mana, though. It looks like Suki and March will end up walking away. I believe overall that fight was a 2-for-3.
That fight was
Weird.
Actually pretty insane, honestly. It looked really good for Team Clairvoyant for a little while, and then they kind of got caught in that huge mosh pit, and it still looked good for them because there was no damage being done while he was mosh pitting the whole team. But then Team Tuark did manage to kind of clean it up and end up getting some kills on that re-engage. So, good fight there by both teams. We see pretty much nothing coming out of, though, because both teams went dead even in that fight, and neither of them managed to take any objectives off of it.
Yeah, that was, it was just too even of a trade, and with so few members left up, either out of mana or just, having to go back for health, it really slows the push you can do, at least this phase of the game. Both teams about to hit level 16 here. We do have Descent getting polymorphed. Nothing able to be capitalized by Tuark. I love the smite dispersion. Oh.
Wow, we see a Witchdoctor ult going just for Furious here, forces him out of the fight. A Futrix comes back, stuns him out of that. But is a Futrix going to go down for that? Huge Divine Storm cancels the Kerrigan pull. It looks like he's going to make it out with the Taster Shield and Uther heals, and now Team Clairvoyant has to be a little careful. They might be overextended here. Mr. J Pickle's looking for an engagement on that ETC. not going to find it, though.
Yeah, there's something we didn't really talk about that 2-Arc has. They have a lot of sustain with the Uther, with the Brightwing, and with the Tassar. That's a lot of heals, that's a lot of shields. With the Bala damage and the ETC, both of them having nice, ETC being tanky and having the regen, and then, Bala just having great sustain damage. They have a lot of sustain. The longer these fights last, the better for them. Clairvoyant Gaming, they have a lot of bursts. They're trying to end the game as fast as, or win the match as fast as possible. So if 2-Arc can delay these engagements and keep living, that's how they're going to be able to win these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see Rhaegar with the Ancestral Healing, and that's a huge amount of front-loaded burst healing, essentially, but he doesn't have the sustained healing to match up to a Brightwing or an Uther, for example, so you're absolutely right. It's all going to come down to whether Team Clairvoyant can burst through, or if 2-Arc can manage to play the kitey defensive healing game. And we see them looking for a Dragon Knight, but they're not going to be able to get it. 2-Arc does a good job of disengaging them from that shrine while they cap the bottom. And looks like it's going to be a null fight here in the mid lane again. We see Mercs pushing now for 2-Arc against Clairvoyant. They're going to split to the top and bottom, it looks like, to clear those out.
Just, not wanting to be the first to give up a fort. Surprisingly, it is the almost 14-minute mark, 13 and a half right now, and no forts have been taken.
Yeah, both teams playing really defensive here, not able to get that decisive teamfight victory that would lead to a huge advantage, and kind of just taking all the mercenaries on the map, defending things when they can. Kiro looks like he's trying to get away here. Descent wants to capture him, but the Kerrigan combo isn't enough. He managed to get out with that pixie dust. Oh, Mr. J. Pickle's coming in with the flank.
Yep, here we go. We're going to see an engagement. Hatsuki is in the bush. Uther is looking for him, wanting to interrupt that ult. Notorious Stick is getting pretty low. He heals himself back to full. Keeper's getting low. ETC Mosh Pit hits only one person. Descent ended up falling. A huge Witch Doctor ult, nailing 3 people here. Uther's going to fall, and that leaves Pickles and Furious D, the last one left. It's suddenly a 3 versus 2. Uther trying to do as much damage as possible. No pull from March. He's just completely out of mana. When you get rewind on Kerrigan, you can engage for like the first 20 seconds, and then you're completely in the team fight.
Yeah, that team fight was pretty insane. That huge it looked bad for Clairvoyant, and then the huge Witch Doctor ult came in, managed to snag the cleanup damage to secure their 2 kills of the 3. So good on them. They got a 3 for 2. Now, what are they going to take with this? They want this shrine. They want to get the Dragon Knight, and they do manage to do it. Team 2-Arc not able to defend against that, and now we're going to see the Dragon Knight start to take down this mid area.
Now, I believe the ETC was the last pick, right? Witch Doctor was picked first, and then ETC was the final pick.
Yeah.
It really blows my mind why they went with ETC and not Diablo. Diablo wasn't banned. He was a free pick. Apocalypse would have interrupted the heroic as soon as it was used. We look at the damage done. Second place is 28,000. Witch Doctor's at 43,000 already. The damage from his ult is insane, and that's really, like you said, it looked like 2-Arc was going to win that engagement until the Witch Doctor ult came in and just did so much damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Team Clairvoyant, really familiar with kind of those niche picks, like the Witch Doctor, like the Gazlo, like the Hammer. Maybe Team 2-Arc just didn't know what to do against it. I mean, you don't get to scrim against it very often. People don't pick it. That's why, being the team that's doing the innovative strategies, you have an advantage, the element of surprise. And we see Suka here getting a lot of damage on these buildings with that Dragon Knight, going in a little deep there for the kick. Are they going to be able to get this fort, or do they want to force to engage?
I mean, it's hard to engage this fight without the Witch Doctor. They want to just pick down the fort and then go from there. Suki's going to have to back off, though, because he does not want to be in the middle of this fight. He might be a little bit overextended right now, but he is going to get to the end of the fight, and this is when we want to see Clairvoyant Gaming engage, is when they have their full lineup here.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Shippickles gets caught in the zombie wall, but it doesn't really matter. ETC just face melts those away. Tyrael tanking the fort. It looks like they're going to get it, and they do. Clairvoyant cleans up the first fort of the game here at 16 minutes.
2-Arc got
Was that
one
second?
Yeah,
Oh, 2-Arc did manage to nag that bottom fort. Was that with some ogres, I think?
Yeah, that was just a little bit of an extra push.
Okay.
I didn't actually see when it fell. I think that was ogres.
Quality map awareness here on display. Excellent job. Well done. Anyway, both forts being taken out in the bottom lane. Not too exciting this late in the game. Usually we see a lot more structure damage. And now Clairvoyant taking those top knights again with that 2-man knight squad. Really efficient. And it looks like nothing really going to happen on this bottom lane. Both teams pull back. Knights have been captured. What are we going to see Clairvoyant and 2-Arc do next?
I mean, it's a really hard thing to do. You really don't want to be 2-Arc, and you don't want to you don't want to engage on this team. You have to wait for Clairvoyant Gaming to engage onto you. And they're just not doing that. Clairvoyant is just moving around the map, making sure they have every objective, trying to keep 2Arc on their toes, and it seems to be working. Both teams are almost level 20 right now as well. Let's see who hits 20 first and see if they can capitalize on that.
Clairvoyant has a slight EXP lead, and they're pressuring this top fort. If they can take this fort, they'll be very close to 20, so they might try to force that. Although with 2Arc at this top night camp, they're really close. They can respond quickly. Witch Doctor gotta get here. He does manage to get here in time. He's in a good position to maybe get some over-the-wall damage or an ultimate to come out. This fort does go down. That puts Clairvoyant way ahead in XP. They're going to be really close to that level 20 mark.
As soon as that hits, they can engage, and it'd be a huge advantage. Everyone's ults gets a lot better when you get that level 20, especially the Witch Doctor.
The Witch Doctor ult. Yeah. The Witch Doctor ult, for those of you who don't know, when you hit level 20, it gets increased range and movement speed, which means that it's actually faster than players, which is a really important breakpoint, because any player who tries to run away from the Witch Doctor ult, they can't get away anymore after level 20. It's a huge boon to the Witch Doctor's team fighting, and the increased range makes them safer, of course.
Yeah, you can use it from so far away and like leap over 2 walls, and without a global interrupt, there's really nothing you can do. Here's Hero getting caught here, does end up having to use Emerald Wind, and there we go, see level 24 Clairvoyant Gaming. Are they going to try and engage before 2Arc hits 20?
Clairvoyant needs to force a fight now. They're level 20, they know Brightwing's ult is down, they want to fight here, they're getting 5 people in position, they do manage to pull Mr. J Pickles in, but that's not the target they want.
From Suki from the bottom, Pickles gets 2 people with the heroic. Here comes the Witch Doctor ult. He's getting 4 people with it right now. Kiefer's does end up falling. Uther going to fall as well. Brightwing coming up from the behind. He does not get the polymorph down. Unfortunately, Furious D is going to fall as well. And currently a 5 for 3 right, or 0 for 3 right now in favor of Clairvoyant Gaming. They're going to be chasing down Kiro and Mr. Pickles, but they should be able to get away. Actually, Suki going super ham here. Might have overextended. Yeah, he's definitely going to go down.
Yeah, Suki overextending a little bit there. He didn't have his buddy March there with him. They just wanted to push this top side and get the keep, and that's going to cost him a little bit, but with that Ancestral Healing still up, Haku's at 100% health, I think they can force this keep down in a 4v2. It would be a little disappointing if they went back, so we're going to have to see if they manage to force this objective. Oh, they're going in on Kiro. Kiro might be out of position. Oh, the Kerrigan stun hits, but he's got the triple Emerald Wind now. He's not going to go down. Very narrowly escapes, and they're not going to be able to get this keep, it looks like. Oh, Haku
They
low.
shouldn't be able to get it. They're all pretty low on mana. The set's actually getting desperately low here. He's going to have to get out of range of the fort. Kiro does get stunned here. Wow, they're actually going to commit to this and get it, but everyone from 2Arc is about to come up. Vologist, Rez, and Tastar and Uther are on the verge of coming up. They're going to have to back off. They got it pretty low.
Yeah. Oh, Bolt of the Storm in by Mr. J Pickles with that face melt that has the slow. That's going to be the re-engage they were looking for.
Wow.
That fight, it went really long, and then it went 2Arc's flavor, like we were talking about. Even with just ETC Brightwing up, those two heroes have a ton of sustain. That fight took a long time. They ended up whittling down Clairvoyance, and now Clairvoyance loses another person.
Yeah,
And
really unfortunate situation there for luckily they did have resurgence, so a few of them did get back up, but
yeah, Barbarian did have the resurgence. Witch Doctor came up because he got picked off way earlier, so they do have a 4v5 right now. We're gonna have to see whether 2Arc can take advantage of this 5v4 power play.
it's gonna be. I mean, at this point in the game, everyone has to just play super safe. You know, one wipe at level 20 plus, and we saw it last game where Glorious was winning the entire time, and Wildfire were able to capitalize on one small mistake. You know, you have to be very patient. You can't get caught. You know, Suki can't get caught again. You can't head first into an ETC Brightwing. You know, everyone's got to be playing patient right now.
Absolutely, and we see that patient play being exhibited here by both teams, being really cautious. 2Arc taking this bottom shrine, but Clairvoyant already has someone snagging that top shrine, so they're going to be able to get that back. And no Dragon Knight for 2Arc, and that's going to buy just enough time for Clairvoyant to get their full 5-man back alive. And we see them positioning on this top side of the map. Looks like they want to take this keep.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to be able to get it. There's no stopping this, unless March gets caught somehow. I do know they're coming. The problem with this position that they are in is it's going to be really hard for them to retreat across this bridge. We'll have to see if they are able to do it.
Yeah, this could be a bad spot for them. The ETC really potent on that narrow causeway. We see him go in here, and he gets a 2-man mosh pit. Is it enough? 3-man. The Witch Doctor ult's coming out, and it's going on the back line, but he gets interrupted too quickly. Hawkfu trying to peel for his Witch Doctor. He goes back there. DIG keeping March alive. March's been alive so long. Get those huge Kerrigan shields, and he gets the leap out, but it's not going to be enough. He ends up going down. They're chasing down Hawkfu now.
Yeah, I mean, that was really greedy from Clairvoyant Gaming. They should not have gone for that key the way they did. They knew that the ETC would be able to bolt in and get a huge engage. Cooldown on bolt guys is like 45 seconds, I believe. It's really short. No matter what, it's going to be up in an engagement. That was just too risky from Clairvoyant Gaming. They should not have gone for that.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't get... Really what's been carrying them in these team fights, and even if you look at the damage chart, it'll agree here, is those Witch Doctor ults.
Oh, yeah.
That's really what's been pulling them through and winning these really drawn-out team fights. That's the only way their damage is high enough to overwhelm the healing from Team 2 Arc. And if you can't get that secure Witch Doctor ultimate, they're not going to be able to get it done. And we see Mr. J Pickles bolt of the storming in to try and engage on Suki, but looks like it's not enough. He's just going to walk away.
Unfortunately, this fort is going to fall for Clairvoyant Gaming. They might be able to take a second one. No, they got 2 people up in 5 seconds. Witch Doctor ult should be up soon. They should not be able to take the mental keep without a big fight happening.
Yeah, they're going to back off here, make the safe play. Kerrigan does come back up, and just disengage for Team 2 Arc. They're going to go to that mid lane. Looks like they want to get some damage on this fort. This is a lot safer. They're in a better position. It's easier for them to escape here. They don't have to be inside of Team Clairvoyant space, and looks like this is going to be a free fort unless Clairvoyant engages this fight.
Yeah, here comes the Witch Doctor ult from so far away. No interrupting out, not without a global. Not really doing too much damage with it so far. Fierce He's taking a lot of damage. You might have to Void Shift soon. Witch Doctor ult does end up falling. Akfu getting bullied back by the Dragon Knight, and, you know, it's kind of weird to see how much trouble Clairvoyant Gaming is having engaging when they have a Barbarian Kerrigan Tyrael.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't find the initiation targets that they wanted. With Vala inside of that Dragon Knight, she's really tanky, so one of your prime targets that you want to get on at the start of a team fight, you can't go on her because she's inside that Dragon Knight. And Team Clairvoyant's just realizing, oh hey, with one of their squishes in the Dragon Knight, we don't really have any good targets to go on, and that's going to let 2 Arc disengage just fine. Witch Doctor ult, not the longest cooldown, but they're going to have to wait for that before they fight again. 45 seconds left on that.
Absolutely. You know, a few things I've noticed about this the Clairvoyant Gaming's comp that it's really been bugging me. I want to ask you about this. They went with the Barb, Tyrael, and Kerrigan. Would you have rather seen them get rid of one of those 3 for a fall stat pick instead? The triple engage it just feels a bit too much for me, and they're not be able to pump out enough damage.
Well, they have a lot of control, and if they can make that matter, if they can get the Witch Doctor ult on targets and then keep the targets inside the Witch Doctor ult because of all those melees who have a lot of control, it's a very good composition.
That's a good point.
But you're kind of putting all your eggs in that Witch Doctor basket at that point because they don't have enough damage to plow through this highly defensive lineup that Team 2 Arc has unless they get the Witch Doctor ult. So when you build these team compositions, you've kind of got a really one-dimensional looking team fight where the only way Clairvoyant wins the fight is if they get a big Witch Doctor ult and keep them in it. So that's the problem with this lineup from my perspective. It's powerful, but it's one-dimensional.
Right. That makes sense. Good analysis there. We do see that Clairvoyant Gaming is going to clean up the 4 Giants on the bottom. At the same time, we do see 2 Arc defending against the Knights, just making sure that push is cleaned up. That fort is very exposed. If Knights get there, it will fall.
Yeah. So if Clairvoyant Gaming can actually keep the teams on the bottom side of the map, they'd be greatly helped by that. When you have a keep down and you're getting those catapults in a lane, what you want to do is you want to put the pressure in that lane, because if you're there, you can clear out the catapults and they won't cause much trouble. But if Team 2 Arc can keep the fights on the top side of the map and keep kind of skirmishing, you know, not letting Team Clairvoyant disengage, those catapults will build up on the bottom side and be a huge problem for Clairvoyant.
Well, here we go. We might finally see that engage. This is gonna be tough engagement. Now let's talk about Notorious Dig's choice for the ancestral healing. With this comp, do you think that was the right choice? I mean, I guess we're playing like, you know, save the Witch Doctor. You know, they're doing everything to keep him alive. Do you think, you know, seeing a Bloodlust in the situation would have been better from them?
Well, here's the problem. You have the Witch Doctor who's at full... Oh, here we see an engage from Mr. J Pickles, and now it's going to have to wait. Oh, we see the Ancestral come down on Suki, and it does keep him alive during that combo. March gets to use his ultimate, and now we see Suki channeling an ult, and it's going to turn the whole fight around. Oh my god, it looks like Ancestral was the right choice here. Yeah, no. Keeping Witch Doctor alive through an absurd amount of damage.
That was insane. He did 12k damage that fight. I was watching the damage meters. That fight started at like 78k. Like, wow.
Well, I mean, that looked really bad for Clairvoyant. That looked really bad. They had 2 people get caught in what looks like a beautiful ETC mosh pit, but then between the Ancestral healing and the Rhaegar shields, they didn't go down, and then March and Suki turned it around with the Kerrigan ult, and
wow. Yeah, they're just gonna be able
that's going to be the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's so brutal at this point in the game. When you do a wipe that bad, I know you still have Kiefer's and Uther here, but Wow.
With a 3 for 0, Team Clairvoyant just ends the game there with a beautiful, beautiful team fight. I cannot believe that Suki lived through that.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at the damage, Suki did 30k more damage than any other hero in the game. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the power witch. That's what I mean. It goes back to what we talked about earlier. Why did they take ETC there? The Diablo pick. Diablo is the 100% counter to Witch Doctor. You just wait for the ult. You pop Apocalypse. Game over. I mean, that's just Witch Doctor 101. You know.
I mean, that
you
looks
lose.
like a good mosh pit, though, right? When you saw that mosh pit come out, I thought for sure Clairvoyant was done.